Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fernbrook Farms and happy Earth Day, everyone. In a Fernbrook tradition, we like to have the staff introduce themselves and ask 3 questions of them. And we have 3 questions on this Earth Day forum. And our first question comes to us from Gemma. Go ahead.
What is your favorite sign of spring?
Hi, Miss Patty here. I'd like to share my favorite signs of spring, which are spring flowers. I still have some tulips in my garden, but the daffodils are really my favorite. Unfortunately, they're done already, but my daughter gave me daffodils for Mother's Day one year, and I've planted tons of them since then.
Hello friends, my name is Miss Stacy. My favorite sign of spring is when I see the lilacs blooming. And we have a whole bunch of lilacs that bloom around our children's garden, and that is my favorite smell and my favorite time of the year. I love that.
Hi everyone, Miss Liz and Luna here to answer some questions for you. Our favorite sign of spring is when the crocuses start to pop up, especially when they poke through the snow right at the end of winter. It's like the first sign of spring coming, so that's our favorite.
Hi, Miss Jenna here. My favorite signs of spring are all of the wildflowers that come up from in the forest to on our lawns.
Hi everyone, Miss Alexandra here, and my favorite sign of spring is all the beautiful blooms I get to see in my backyard.
This is Mr. Brian, and my favorite sign of spring is seeing the baby lambs. They're a little bigger now, but I still love seeing them.
Lydia here. My favorite part of spring is eating my first chocolate and vanilla ice cream cone.
Hello everybody, it's Mr. Sean. My favorite sign of spring is all of the trees turning green again, growing their leaves. Really makes me feel great when I can see the forest is that bright, gorgeous green again.
Nice one, Gemma. I like it. What is your favorite sign of spring? And our second question comes to us from Michaela.
What is your favorite way to plug into nature during isolation?
So during quarantine, I try to get outside every day, and one of the things I like to do is garden. And so I just finished transplanting some plants. I have some hostas here that I just moved, and I've been gardening almost every day. I've also been trying to keep the bird feeders filled, and I have a pair of cardinals that have been coming every day.
My favorite way to plug into nature during this time of isolation here with our social distancing orders is to spend time in my garden outside. Right now I'm inside, but outside you can see my garden, my daffodils just finishing their cycle, and then my columbine will be coming up. I'll be planting some more garden beds and taking advantage of the gardening space that I have.
Our favorite way to engage with nature since we've been isolated has obviously been going for some extra long walks around the neighborhood and in these woods we have here nearby.
My favorite way to connect with nature while being in isolation and social distancing has been to just stand outside and listen to all of the birds, and at night all of the frogs that are coming out, and it's just nice to hear that nature is having so much fun.
My favorite way to plug into nature during quarantine is to go for runs in the morning before everyone else wakes up.
And it's Mr. Brian again, and my favorite thing to do during isolation, to plug into nature, is to observe the daily changes, especially a tree like this, and you see the buds coming in and then turning into flowers on this, and as they grow and get bigger, it's amazing to see all the changes each and every day.
My favorite way to plug into nature is to get up early and spend time with the animals.
My favorite way to plug into nature during quarantine is to work in my garden. I've got carrots and Brussels sprouts and even some cucumbers getting started.
All right, nice one, Michaela. I like it. What is your favorite way to plug into nature during isolation? And now for our last question. Gemma and Michaela, go ahead.
What is your favorite way
To reduce your carbon footprint.
One of the things I like to do for the environment is make my own reusable bags so that I'm not using so many one-time use bags. Here's one that I've made. I use this for grocery shopping, and I've used some of these for 15 years. So I've cut out a lot of plastic bags.
My Earth Day favorite way to reduce my carbon footprint is to walk as often as I can to get to places. And so instead of driving, a lot of times I will just walk, whether it's to go out to eat when restaurants are open, or to go to the grocery store, and I'll just put on a backpack, or I'll carry some reusable bags in my pocket and go down to Aldi. So what I love about living in Bordentown is it's a walkable community, and everything that I could ever want is within walking distance. So walking everywhere to reduce my carbon footprint. And then sometimes I even take Bonaparte on walks with me, and he goes on little walks around Bordentown with me. So if you are lucky, you might see us out there.
And my favorite way to reduce my carbon footprint is by saving things at home that I would normally put in the trash or into the recycle bin, and bringing them to Fernbrook with me to make some awesome projects and crafts with the campers.
My favorite way to reduce my carbon footprint is to actually do a really good job at composting and bringing all my food scraps to the farm, and they go to a few places. They go to feed our worm compost bins. Of course, sometimes if they're good enough, they can give the chickens a little treat, or they go into our large compost pile by the children's garden.
My favorite way to reduce my carbon footprint is to ride my bike as much as I can instead of driving.
This is Mr. Brian again, and my favorite way to reduce carbon footprint is by keeping a compost bucket. Keep all that food out of the garbage can and out of the landfills, and turn it into nice, healthy soil for your garden.
Lydia here. I like to recycle for Earth Day. In this project, we get to recycle and also be of a great community service. We take t-shirts, cut off the sleeves, sew up the bottom, and donate them to the food pantry.
So my favorite way to reduce our carbon footprint is to eat vegetarian. Now, I still eat a little too much bread and sugar, but meat production has a huge impact on our environment. Roughly 18% of all carbon emissions come from that type of animal agriculture. So I prefer to either eat no meat at all, or if you can, just reduce the amount that you do.
Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our Earth Day video. For T-Bone here, he was trying to get a little lick in there. For T-Bone and everybody else at Fernbrook Farms, have a wonderful and happy Earth Day.